ESPN analysts were discussing what Kyrie Irving had said about LeBron James in his recent interview. "LeBron James was a great teammate for me, but I was the real architect of that championship," Irving had said. "The truth is, after I left that team, Cleveland never even made it to the finals again. This shows who was more valuable. I could never win another championship with him, because he wouldn't let me play my own style." As Richard Jefferson, Irving's former teammate, was preparing to object to these statements, the program host was startled by a message in his earpiece. "Ladies and gentlemen," said the host, with incredible excitement in his voice, "LeBron James is watching our program right now and wants to connect to respond to Irving's comments." The tension in the studio suddenly peaked. Everyone was wondering what one of the NBA's biggest stars would say about his former teammate's claims. LeBron James's image appeared on the screen. There was an unusual calmness on his face, but the determination in his eyes was striking. "First of all, good day everyone," said LeBron with no sign of anger in his voice. "I heard what Kyrie said and honestly I was surprised, because what he told me when the cameras were off was very different." LeBron paused for a moment. Everyone in the studio was holding their breath. "There's something I haven't shared with you. During the 2016 finals, the night before Game 7, Kyrie called me. What he said in that conversation and what really happened that night." Before continuing, LeBron took out his phone. "Actually, I want to show you something. This is a secret strategy that Kyrie never told anyone about, one we used against Golden State that night, and a message he sent me. No one has seen this message until today." Just as LeBron was about to show the message on his phone, the broadcast cut to a commercial break. What had happened between Kyrie and LeBron in the 7th game of that final? What was that secret message Kyrie sent to LeBron? And how would this message change the true story of the championship? Viewers were glued to their screens, waiting for these secrets to be revealed. Welcome to the Famous Stories channel. Whatever city you're watching from, please write it in the comments below. If you're curious about unknown and never-before-heard truths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. NBA Today was one of ESPN's most watched basketball talk shows. Each week, former NBA players, sports commentators, and analysts would come together to discuss current basketball topics. That day, the program was particularly heated because the topic was Kyrie Irving's controversial statements made on a podcast called The Shop. The studio was unusually tense that morning. Word had spread throughout ESPN headquarters that Kyrie Irving had made some explosive comments about his time with LeBron James in Cleveland. The production team had been scrambling to gather all the relevant clips and statistics, sensing this could be one of their highest-rated segments of the year. Malika Andrews, the show's host, had spent the previous evening carefully reviewing all of Irving's comments, preparing for what she knew would be a contentious discussion. The 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers championship team held a special place in basketball history, the first team to ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals, breaking Cleveland's 52-year championship drought. Any revisionist history about that legendary team was bound to create controversy. Program host Malika Andrews opened the topic. Yesterday, some statements Kyrie Irving made about LeBron James caused quite a stir. Let's listen. On the screen, Kyrie Irving's podcast footage appeared. "LeBron is a great player, everyone knows that. The years I played with him were important in my career, but I have to say this, I was the real architect of that championship. I made that shot in Game 7. Without that shot, Cleveland would never have been champions." The footage continued. "The truth is, after I left that team, Cleveland never even made it to the finals again. This shows who was more valuable. Also, honestly, I could never win another championship with him because he wouldn't let me play my own style. I was more successful when I went my own way and showed my own leadership." The camera panned to the studio guests who represented different perspectives on the debate. Kendrick Perkins, known for his blunt assessments and loyalty to LeBron, was visibly agitated. Richard Jefferson, who had been on that championship team, looked genuinely confused by Kyrie's revisionist account. Completing the panel was Brian Windhorst, who had covered LeBron since his high school days and knew the dynamics of that Cleveland team intimately. A murmur rose in the studio. Commentator Kendrick Perkins shook his head. "This is unacceptable. What Kyrie said is completely disrespectful. Without LeBron, Cleveland would never have even made it to that final series." "Let me add some context here," Windhorst interjected. "In that 2016 season, LeBron led the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks during the finals. That's never been done before or since in NBA history. For Kyrie to suggest he was the architect is frankly rewriting history. Andrews turned to Jefferson. Richard, you were in that locker room. What's your perspective on Kyrie's comments? Richard Jefferson, as part of the 2016 championship roster, wanted to delve deeper into the topic. What Kyrie said really surprised me. I was on that team, and what I saw was that LeBron and Kyrie were an amazing duo. LeBron's leadership and Kyrie's scoring ability carried us to the championship. But for Kyrie to talk like this? Jefferson paused, searching for the right words. Look, Kyrie hit probably the biggest shot in franchise history. That three-pointer over Curry in Game 7 was legendary. But there's a reason we were even in that position to begin with. LeBron's block on Iguodala, his leadership during the series. Remember, we were down 3-1 to a 73-win team. That comeback doesn't happen without LeBron setting the tone. Perkins, never one to hold back, jumped in. And let's not forget, when Kyrie left Cleveland thinking he could lead his own team in Boston, what happened? They never even made the finals. With all that talent, Tatum, Brown, Horford, they couldn't get past the Eastern Conference. Then he goes to Brooklyn with KD, and still no finals appearance. So this narrative that he was the architect just doesn't hold up. Windhorst nodded in agreement. The numbers support that too. Kyrie had the highest effective field goal percentage of his career playing alongside LeBron. His assists were up, his turnovers were down. The idea that LeBron somehow restricted his game just isn't supported by the statistics. The discussion was building to a crescendo of disagreement with Kyrie's claims when something unexpected happened. Before Jefferson could complete his next thought, program host Malika Andrews was startled by a message in her earpiece. The expression on her face suddenly changed, first surprise, then disbelief, followed by barely contained excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen," said Andrews, with incredible excitement in her voice, "I have to announce an amazing development. LeBron James is watching our live broadcast right now and wants to join the program to respond to Kyrie's comments." The tension in the studio suddenly peaked. Kendrick Perkins's eyes widened. Richard Jefferson leaned forward in surprise. Brian Windhorst, who had known LeBron for decades, looked genuinely shocked. LeBron rarely responded directly to criticism, especially not in real time on live television. The other commentators were looking at each other as if to say, "Is this real?" The production crew scrambled behind the scenes, gesturing wildly at each other as they prepared for this unexpected but monumental television moment. "Let's establish the connection," said Andrews, signaling to the producer, trying to maintain her professional composure despite the adrenaline clearly pumping through her veins. For 30 seconds, an eternity in live television, the studio sat in tense silence as technical staff worked to establish the connection. Perkins straightened his tie nervously. Jefferson, who had played with both men, shifted uncomfortably in his seat, perhaps concerned about being caught in the middle of this confrontation between two NBA superstars. After what seemed like an eternity of technical preparation, LeBron James appeared on the large screen in the studio. He had connected from his home, and it was clear he was at the Lakers training center. He was wearing a Lakers t-shirt, and an unusual calmness was noticeable on his face, the composure of someone who had faced pressure on the world's biggest stages and was unfazed by this moment. "First of all, good day everyone," said LeBron, with no sign of anger in his voice. "When I took a break from training today, I heard what Kyrie said, and honestly I was surprised, because what he told me when the cameras were off was very different." Everyone in the studio was holding their breath. LeBron James, one of the greatest stars in NBA history, was about to talk about his former teammates' claims on live TV. This was the kind of unscripted, raw moment that rarely happened in the carefully managed world of professional sports media. "I've always supported Kyrie and I've always appreciated him," LeBron continued. "The years we spent together in Cleveland were special. However, his memory seems to be a bit selective." Richard Jefferson laughed slightly, the tension momentarily broken. Kendrick Perkins nodded approvingly, clearly pleased that LeBron was defending himself against what he perceived as unfair criticism. "There's something I haven't shared with you," said LeBron, his tone becoming a bit more serious. "During the 2016 finals, the night before Game 7, Kyrie called me. It was past midnight, he couldn't sleep. He called me and said, 'Bron, I need to tell you something.' There was complete silence in the studio. This was an unknown aspect of that legendary final series, and everyone was curious about what had happened. Even the camera operators had stopped their usual movements, transfixed by LeBron's revelations. "Kyrie said to me, 'Tomorrow might be the most important game of my life. Honestly, I'm very nervous and I need your support.' How can you stay so calm?" LeBron paused for a moment, as if reliving that moment, the weight of history and the pressure they had faced on the eve of Game 7. "I told him, Kyrie, tomorrow we're just going to play a basketball game. Yes, an NBA final. Yes, we have a chance to make history, but in the end it's just a game. Go out there and do what you do, which is play basketball. I've got your back. The team has your back. Just express yourself." Windhorst, who had covered LeBron's entire career, nodded knowingly. This was the leadership side of James that he had observed for years, calm under pressure, focusing on process rather than outcome, supporting his teammates when they needed guidance. "And that wasn't all," LeBron continued. "We spent almost an hour on the phone that night, going over specific matchups, defensive rotations, how to counter Golden State's adjustments. Kyrie was particularly concerned about how Klay Thompson had been defending him, and we developed a specific strategy for how to create switches that would get Steph Curry defending him instead." Jefferson interjected. "I remember that. The next day in our final walkthrough, Kyrie brought up some of those exact same points. I had no idea that came from a late-night conversation with you." LeBron nodded. "That's how we operated. It wasn't just about individual brilliance, it was about strategy, preparation, teamwork. That's what made that Cleveland team special." Before continuing, LeBron took out his phone, holding it up to the camera. "Actually, I want to show you something. This is a message that Kyrie never told anyone about. A secret strategy we used against Golden State that night, and a message he sent me. No one has seen this message until today." Just as LeBron was about to show something on his phone, the program cut to a commercial break. This dramatic interruption had viewers glued to their screens. What had happened between Kyrie and LeBron in the 7th game of that final? What was that secret message Kyrie sent to LeBron? When the commercial break ended, the cameras returned to the studio. LeBron James was still on the screen, holding his phone. "Before the commercial, I was talking about a message Kyrie sent me," said LeBron. "I received this message just a few hours before Game 7, after the morning practice." LeBron turned his phone toward the camera. A message from 2016 appeared on the screen. The date of the message was June 19, 2016, the day Game 7 of the NBA Finals was played. The message read, "Bron, tonight I'm going to follow your leadership. We'll make history together. For all of Cleveland, for the whole team. I'm with you on the court, Kyrie." A silence of astonishment formed in the studio. This message showed the exact opposite of what Kyrie Irving had said in the podcast. The stark contrast between Kyrie's private communications and his public statements couldn't have been more dramatic. "This is just one example," said LeBron, putting the phone back in his pocket. "My relationship with Kyrie was always built on mutual respect and trust. In that final series I trusted his talent, and he trusted my leadership. Together we accomplished one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history, winning a championship after being down 3-1. Richard Jefferson interjected, "LeBron, I was part of that team, and what you're saying is completely true. The two of you had captured an incredible chemistry on the court." "Hearing what Kyrie is saying now really surprised me. I can confirm this too," added Windhorst. "I was covering that team extensively, and the dynamic between LeBron and Kyrie was one of mutual respect. There were occasional tensions, as there are on any team, but nothing like what Kyrie is describing now." LeBron nodded. "Ricky, you were there too. We all worked together, fought together, and won together. No one won that championship alone. Not me, not Kyrie, not anyone else. That's what makes championship teams special. It's about coming together for something bigger than any individual." Kendrick Perkins began to speak with his usual straightforward manner. "LeBron, we all know how you motivated the team throughout that season. What Kyrie said is disrespectful. That message explains everything." LeBron spoke as if wanting to soften Perkins's aggressive tone. "Kyrie is an incredibly talented player. What he did in that final series, especially that shot in Game 7, is one of the greatest moments in basketball history. No one can take that away from him. But we need to be honest about how history was written." Malika Andrews wanted to delve a bit deeper into the topic. "LeBron, what do you think about Kyrie's words? I could never win another championship with him because he wouldn't let me play my own style." LeBron smiled slightly. "This is also an interesting claim. Kyrie was one of the players who took the most shots in Cleveland. He achieved his highest assist average while playing with me. How did I not let you play your own style, Kyrie?" A slight laughter was heard in the studio. LeBron's calm demeanor and logical arguments were refuting Kyrie's claims. "Actually," LeBron continued, "I want to show you a statistic." LeBron showed another screenshot from his phone. This was a table comparing Kyrie Irving's statistics during the seasons he played with LeBron in Cleveland and afterward. As you can see, Kyrie had the most productive period of his career while playing with me. Higher shooting percentage, more assists, more playoff success. After me, these numbers dropped. This contradicts the claim of not being able to play his own style, doesn't it? Richard Jefferson nodded approvingly. These statistics show the facts. Kyrie was a more effective player when he was with LeBron. Let me add something to that, Windhorse said. One of the things I observed covering that team was how LeBron actually encouraged Kyrie to develop his game. He would often defer to Kyrie in key moments, letting him take over when he had the hot hand. The idea that LeBron somehow suppressed Kyrie's game just doesn't match with what I saw. LeBron wanted to clarify one more point. I'd also like to add this. After Kyrie left Cleveland, he joined a great team in Boston. It was full of stars, but they couldn't even play in a final. Now he's playing in Brooklyn with a superstar like Kevin Durant, still the same result. This shows that no matter how great individual talent is, winning a championship is a team effort. Kendrick Perkins enthusiastically agreed. Everything you're saying is true, King. Kyrie hasn't won a single championship ring without your leadership. Malika Andrews wanted to deepen the discussion a bit more. LeBron, what happened during the process of your relationship with Kyrie breaking down? Why did you go your separate ways? LeBron took a deep breath. This is a complex issue, Malika. I've always respected Kyrie's desire to chart his own path. Every player has the right to want to be the main character of their own story. But the real question is, why do you need to change others' stories to write your own? These words had a profound effect in the studio. Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins looked at each other, feeling the weight of LeBron's words. Actually, LeBron continued, I want to show you something I've never shared with anyone before. This is our last conversation before Kyrie left Cleveland. LeBron turned his phone to the camera again. This time an audio recording icon appeared. Making this recording might seem strange, but at that time there were some rumors circulating within the team, and I wanted to document the truth. Now, with your permission, I'd like to share a part of this recording with you. Tension suddenly peaked in the studio. Everyone was curious about what was in this audio recording. LeBron started the recording. Kyrie Irving's voice was heard. Bron, I need to tell you something. I want to leave here. I want to be the leader of my own team. But I want you to know this. These years I spent with you were incredible. I grew, developed, and became a champion under your leadership. I'm grateful to you. Then LeBron's voice was heard. I understand you, Kyrie. If you want to chart your own path, I'll support that. But wherever you go, remember what we did together. We made history. Kyrie's voice again. I'll always remember, Bron. And to be honest, I was lucky to play with you. I couldn't have been this compatible with any other superstar. LeBron stopped the recording and put the phone in his pocket. A deep silence reigned in the studio. These are the words of the real Kyrie, said LeBron. Not what he says in front of the cameras, but what he says in a private conversation. Our relationship was always built on mutual respect. I don't understand why he's telling a different story now. Richard Jefferson finally broke the silence. LeBron, this is really enlightening. It's very strange that Kyrie is telling two different stories. Kendrick Perkins made a harsher comment. This is complete hypocrisy. Kyrie has been talking behind LeBron's back, while privately saying completely different things. This is unacceptable. Malika Andrews tried to take control of the situation. LeBron, why did you decide to share these recordings and messages now? Is there a problem between you and Kyrie? LeBron shook his head. No, I don't have a problem with Kyrie. I still appreciate him and wish him success in his career. But we need to be honest about how history was written. What's important to me is that the story of that Cleveland team, that championship, is told correctly. Because that championship wasn't just mine or Kyrie's, it was the success of the entire city of Cleveland, the whole team, the entire organization. Everyone in the studio was impressed by LeBron's mature and thoughtful response. Richard Jefferson spoke in support of his former teammate. LeBron is right. That championship was a team effort. And yes, Kyrie's shot in Game 7 was legendary, but without LeBron playing with a triple-double average in that series, making the block on defense, contributing in every area, that championship would never have come. Kendrick Perkins added, and remember, coming back from 3-1 down, something never done before in NBA history. This requires leadership. This was LeBron James's leadership. Malika Andrews asked one final question to wrap up the topic. LeBron, is there anything you want to say to Kyrie? Maybe he's watching us right now. LeBron thought for a moment, then spoke looking directly at the camera. Kyrie, the years I played with you were one of the most special periods of my career. We made history together. We became champions together. I've always respected your talent and basketball IQ, but we need to be honest about how history was written. That championship came through the collaborative work of both of us and the entire team. No one won that trophy alone. I hope one day we'll come together again and remember those days, those memories as they really were." LeBron's emotional and sincere words had a profound effect in the studio. Richard Jefferson's eyes had welled up. Kendrick Perkins had set aside his usual tough demeanor and was nodding approvingly. As Malika Andrews prepared to end the program, she turned to LeBron one last time. "LeBron, thank you for sharing these special memories and messages with us today. This was truly a conversation that illuminated an important period in NBA history." LeBron smiled. "Thank you, Malika. It was important for the truth to be known." As the program ended, everyone in the studio was under the influence of this extraordinary moment that had just occurred. LeBron James had not only refuted Kyrie Irving's claims, but had also shed light on the behind-the-scenes of the 2016 NBA Finals. After the cameras turned off, Richard Jefferson turned to the producer. "Wow, that was one of the most impressive moments of this program. It was incredible for LeBron to speak so openly." Kendrick Perkins nodded. "King James did it again, a leader in front of the camera just as he is on the court. I'm very curious about what Kyrie will say after this revelation." Malika Andrews was still looking at her notes. This was truly a historic moment. Those messages and the audio recording LeBron shared, they completely refuted what Kyrie said. Just a few hours after the program went off the air, social media was buzzing with the LeBron and Kyrie debate. The hashtags #LeBron exposed Kyrie, 2016 Finals reveal, and the real championship story were trending on Twitter. Sports commentators were praising LeBron's calm demeanor and his speaking with evidence. Former NBA players were sharing their own memories about Cleveland's legendary championship. As for Kyrie Irving, he made a brief statement on Instagram that evening. "Sometimes emotions get ahead of logic. I'll talk to LeBron and we'll resolve this situation privately. Some of my words may have been misunderstood." This diplomatic statement showed that Kyrie was backing down in the face of the evidence LeBron had shared on live TV. LeBron James didn't make any posts on social media that evening. For him, the matter was closed. The facts had been revealed, and the true story of the 2016 NBA championship had been told. And perhaps most importantly, the basketball world had once again understood that great victories are never the work of just one person. Championships are won through teamwork, mutual respect, and leadership. In the 2016 NBA Finals, LeBron James and Kyrie Irving had proven this fact on the court, no matter what different stories might be told years later. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. What do you think about this topic? Please write in the comments below. See you in the next video.